Let's review this idea of change leadership. We'll start with this quote from Peter Drucker. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it's the act with yesterday's logic. So, remaining competitive in today's global environment means organizations must be nimble and able to quickly implement change in strategy, structure, or technology and adapt to these changes effectively. Changing a current state organization to a desired future state organization requires solid competency in integrated change leadership. Change leadership is the act of leading and managing change. It is critical to the success of any operational excellence transformation or continuous improvement initiative, as well as to the overall health of a high performance culture. These three groups are to consider during change leadership, and they are change leaders, those who will assist in leading change because they perceive significant opportunity with little associated risk. Then there's the wait and seers, those who will change when they begin to see evidence that the opportunity is increasing and the risk is decreasing. This is the largest group. Approximately 68% of the individuals are in this group. Then there's the change resistors, those who will resist change because they perceive little opportunity with significant risk. The challenge is to understand the change adoption curve, which defines phases, impact, feelings, and adjustments individuals and groups go through when faced with change. Based on the work by psychiatrist and journalist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the change adoption curve depicts 4 phases, which are necessary to understand and manage when leading a successful change initiative. First is the rejection. This does not apply to me, and if I wait, it'll go away. Then there's resistance. This won't work, and I'm going back to doing it my way, the old way. There's the acceptance. This looks like it might work, and it might even be better than the old way. Then there's commitment. This way works much better than the old way. It's how I'm going to do things. The intent is to understand and use the change adoption curve along with change adoption plan to reduce the implementation time. Doing so will also reduce the change's negative impact on the organization and individuals. It's important to note that each of these 3 change adoption groups will experience the 4 phases at different paces and will vary in degree of impact. So the change adoption curve, if you notice it on this slide, these different change adoption categories will change over time and have different levels of positive or negative impact on the organization. So change leadership process, let's review that. First, we'll develop and communicate a vision, reason, goals, expectations, plans, benefits, and impacts of the change initiative. We'll then identify a change initiative sponsor. We'll identify and launch change initiative project team. We'll create a change charter with clearly defined deliverables, goals, scope, and success criteria. We'll create a change plan, schedule, stakeholder management plan, risk management plan, and communication plan. The next step is to assess and plan the organization's readiness for change using the change readiness plan template. In this template, we can assign an owner to each change readiness element. For example, someone will own the leadership, support, involvement, and visibility. We'll determine if each of these elements are required for the change we're implementing, and then we'll understand the status and the date and so on. So that's an example of a change readiness plan with all the different elements that could go through maybe the most comprehensive of changes. We'll then execute the change initiative, and inputs to that may include a RACI matrix, process maps, SWOT analysis, force field analysis. We'll create a change adoption plan, and that's depicted here. There'll be a change owner, a change group, the stakeholders that are involved, the resistance level, the reason for resistance, and we'll have a log date. And then we'll determine an adoption strategy and a due date for that strategy. And we'll provide an adoption status. And this will change to our standard project management colors. So if it's on schedule, it's green. If it's at risk, it's yellow. If it's behind schedule, it's red. If it's complete, it turns blue. We'll then monitor, measure, and adjust based on the planned benefits and the metrics for success. And we'll acknowledge the benefits and celebrate successes of the change implementation. So not all change initiatives are equal in complexity, nor do they all require the same level of process to implement. Change initiatives will vary from those that are just do it to those that are fully organizational transformations. Use the process level necessary for successfully implementing the change initiative based on an analysis of its complexity and impact on the organization and individuals. Just do it initiatives will likely require scaled down training and communication plans to ensure success. So this gives you a little example on the change process level applied based on the change initiative complexity. So an example of a change initiative, a new hire, change to a process or a procedure, that process level is just do it. And the type of engagement is we need to adapt to the change. If it's a new process, product, or service, it may require a light version. And that type of engagement is still an adaptive type to adapt to the change. In the more complex, if we're going to restructure new strategies, new technologies, that may be a medium version of the process. And that type of engagement is to adopt. And then the most complex would be a transformation or an acquisition or a merger. It takes a full version of the change process. And again, the type of engagement is to adopt. So that's just an example of the level of application of the process based on the complexity of the change. You have access to download complimentary Excel toolboxes containing many tools and templates used in the various types of initiatives as listed here. You can find these at valuegenerationpartners.com, then select the downloads page to access the Excel toolboxes. I wish you much success in using proven tools and techniques to achieve your desired goals and outcomes.